So, good afternoon. We have today with us a good friend of mine, I would say, Starr Wilson, who's a real star, and I'll tell you why soon. Starr Wilson is a producer, and she just finished, I believe, a documentary.
I did.
And what's the name of it?
It's basically pedestrian safety.
Okay. And we're going to talk about that too. And Star, I can't tell you how happy you are that you are accepting my invitation after what, so many years.
Long
Uh,
time.
I know. So some people show up right away, and some people take a long time. So it's a pleasure to have you here. So Star, um, now that you have your own production company, it's the first time that you finished this production. It's your first full length production.
It's my first paid production.
Oh, paid production. Okay.
Paid. Yeah, that's the important word. Yeah.
Paid by an investor.
It was paid by a nonprofit group, actually, the San Francisco Municipal Travel Agency. And the reason I think I got hired to do the job is because I am a senior and I am disabled.
Okay.
And this organization is a disability organization, nonprofit, which basically works for the rights of seniors and for the disabled community. And they're very underrepresented in San Francisco. And this video is training people how to problem solve in their neighborhoods.
Oh,
So it's not, it's not a drama thing. It's not a funny thing. It's talking heads, but it's
to
also
real people.
it's real people. It's real issues and how to deal with them, how to deal with the government, how to deal with problems in your neighborhood, how to get funding, how to get money
Okay. And you did that outside the studio?
outside the studio. Absolutely.
Okay. And how long is it?
21 minutes.
It's very short.
Yeah, well, for training it's short, yeah. But I had to cut it down because the producer was a slow talker. And he
Okay.
kept telling me to cut it down. It's like, dude, you need to talk faster.
Actually, the longer a film is, the better it sells, though.
Well, it is in this case because you have to reiterate, you have to restate things over and over again because you're training people at the time that you're showing this.
Okay.
So not only are you using slides, but you're also using visuals, and you're also having my narrator purposely. I had her restating points, and
So
even in the
people.
credit row, I had the points all restated, and I do it on purpose because you're working with people who are older, elderly, and so they need to have things restated, and they need to have things so they can see them and think about them, and also so they can stop it and look at it and think about it and go from step one to step two to step three to step four. And apparently it got a good reception. It got approved, and I was very happy about that.
Okay, so it was approved to be shown on TV?
To be approved to be shown to senior community groups. So
Okay.
when they go around and they hold Senior Disability Action holds what is called town hall meetings, and also
And you showed that.
and universities, and they show the film there. So they sit down, and the film shows people who have been active in the group. It shows people who tell them what they need to do
Yeah.
and how to get money.
Oh,
For a city thing or city organization, you can get $40,000, which is, oh, hey, I can see that. For a neighborhood, you can get $20,000
doing
funding,
what?
solving your problem in your neighborhood. But
Oh,
you have to apply to the
project?
SFMTA for a project. Yes,
SFMTA. Okay.
San Francisco Municipal Travel Agency. You have to apply there.
Actually, last week I read that the new mayor was looking at the corridors that were in danger. You read about it? And she was trying to speed up
Timeline.
the timeline to bring because there's too many accidents on Valencia on bikers, and there's too many accidents on some corridors, and she said, well, we need to stop that because people are getting hurt. So I guess you look into that too.
Well, the San Francisco Disability, or the Senior Disability Action Group, is very active in that.
Okay.
And the timeline right now that Muni is giving is 3 years, and we're saying
Oh.
that's not appropriate. We need it faster because believe it or not, 50% of people who are hurt and killed are seniors.
Yes.
We're the highest casualty rate for fatalities in San Francisco, and like 7th and Howard is what they're working on now, which
Yeah.
is very dangerous. And
Yeah.
also at the freeway entrance there at Harrison,
Yeah.
that's very dangerous. Trying to get across the street is awfully dangerous.
Yeah, on my way here, I was going down the street. There was two signs saying, "Slow down, senior citizens live here." And then all of a sudden, I see a car zipping at 70 miles an hour. I said, "This guy doesn't know how to read. What is he doing speeding like this? He even passed us like
Yep.
crazy." So people are out there crazy.
Yes.
How did they get their driver's license? I don't know. But anyway, it's a problem.
It's a big problem, and what they're doing is one of the requests that the SDA has made that, through the Richmond Senior Center is that they give more funding to the engineers at the San Francisco Municipal Travel Agency so they can do road bumps to slow traffic down, ways to slow
That's
traffic down.
a good idea,
Because most roads are not made for people to walk, they're made for cars to drive.
right?
And so what San Francisco is doing is we're trying to teach them that people have to have safety. They have to have roadblocks, mid-blocks. They have to have ways to cross the street so they're not going to get killed by some idiot who's going to go through the red light.
They also increased by 5 seconds the crossing of streets.
That's
Did
right.
you notice that?
Yes, in May it was passed and approved by the supervisors, and they actually gave us 5 seconds at time. And I purposely put into the video a guy. Well, I put a lot of shots, but the main one shot I shot is this elderly man on crutches,
Crossing.
and he took 5 seconds longer than the
Extra.
light to cross. And the bus is sitting there, and all the traffic's sitting there, and they're sitting there, and they're sitting there while he had to get across the street. And I said, I made my point.
Yes.
There's not enough time. So they finally passed that. It's supposed to be into effect now,
Okay, good.
but that was one of the things that we
That
had
will be in
fought for.
certain street, not everywhere.
That's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Entire city of San Francisco.
An extra 5
the
seconds.
SDA, along with Walk San Francisco, Vision Zero, all of them got together. We had news conferences. We brought media in, and we purposely went before the supervisors, all the boards, anybody we could testify to, and produce evidence. We were there. And that's why it passed. We had data. We went out and did surveys of how many people couldn't pass the lines in time. And basically, the SFMTA, when they looked at the evidence, they said, okay, fine, all right, we got it. We'll give you 5 seconds. And so they said, yes, they'll do it.
It's funny that you are doing that kind of project because when you did my show, I looked at it 2 days ago. You took the best shots of me I ever had. I don't know if it was my best day, but also, I want to say it publicly, you did 8 position all by yourself. You did the 3 cameras, the CG, the switching, the directing, everything, and the sound.
Yes.
And you did it all, not only you did it all by yourself, but everything came out so much better than with 8 people.
I mean,
And I thought, this woman is amazing. Plus, I had you took the most wonderful shots at that show. And I streamed it and I put it online because it's just a piece of art. You're just amazing. I'm surprised that you're not working in TV.
I tried to get a job as a director. I actually went down to Los Angeles to Burbank, which is basically Hollywood is Burbank.
Yeah.
I actually took professional directing down there. I tried to get work in the studios, and I was told that I was too intelligent,
Yeah.
that I should take my resume and take all my experience off of it and pretend that I only have 1 year of experience and plus do the short skirt routine. And I said, I'm sorry. The minute I walk in and open my mouth, they're going to know right away that I am intelligent. That I'm not the bimbo. And I know what I'm doing. So I wasn't able to get directing. I was offered to get into the Directors Guild, but it's $10,000 for membership. And of course,
Ooh. Wow.
do we have this kind of money?
I mean,
no.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
They put roadblocks on you.
Yeah, they put roadblocks on you. So I wasn't really able to do anything down there. It was very frustrating. I even took advanced editing, avid editing down there, and the only proposal I got was, well, we'll give you a suite if you edit our film, but we're not going to pay you. I said, I'm so sorry, but I'm not
You need
18.
to eat.
I need to eat. I need to pay my bills. I'm not living at home with my mommy and daddy. And, you know, you need to pay me. And they said, well, we don't have money. I said, well, then don't talk to me.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
paid all this money for editing school. I'm sorry.
yeah.
I need to be paid. Now it's a lot cheaper. You don't have to pay
You have
$100,000
a
for an
computer.
editing suite. You have a computer, you have Premiere Pro or
Right.
whatever. And
Final Cut.
in Final Cut Pro, yeah, exactly. So you got better software nowadays. It's the technology is a lot better.
Evolved. Yes.
Thank you.
And yeah, so it makes it easier on you when you edit your film, right? You edited your own film?
Yeah.
You did, okay.
Yeah.
So congratulations on finishing that. But maybe now that you finished this project, you can go back to produce things. He wants to do a movie. You might find projects that you can produce that are not really senior or whatever.
Right.
You just mentioned, because you have the skills for it.
I have the skills.
And you have the eye. You know how to take a good shot. That's for sure.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, some people don't have the eye. I had some directors that just didn't pick up the best angle or So it's a skill that maybe you're born with. I don't know.
Well, I love directing. I love telling people what to do. I'm sorry about that, but I really do.
Yeah, because you know exactly where they should go.
Well, I know what I want, and I know how to get it, and I know how to get it under budget,
Yeah.
and I like working with people. And so I'm hoping that I do find something. I'm not sure what it will be at this stage of the game. I do have a project I want to do, and everybody I've mentioned to has told me, you're crazy, you shouldn't do it, which tells me I should.
Oh,
So I still have to think that through, and I have to do research and see if what happened to me and a lot of other people in their homes who lost their homes here in San Francisco.
you can do a documentary on that.
Yeah, I want to do a documentary on that because I mean.
Oh yeah, all the fires and everything.
Well, it's not just that. San Francisco has a rent board and the Eviction Defense League, who is very much for renters. However, there are
Oh, you're
renters
talking about that kind of losing homes.
who abuse the system. They'll get into a person's home and then they sit there for a year and refuse to pay money and become
my God.
squatters. And then the people rely on this rent to pay their mortgage payment, and then they lose their home.
Oh,
And that's what happened to me, and that's what happened to about dozen people.
people didn't pay rent.
In my neighborhood, and we couldn't get them out because the rent board kept saying, well, this is
Keep
what they
them.
say. They would say this, that, and the other, and it wasn't true.
That's so unfortunate. People like that exist.
They do, and they're making it hard for homeowners, especially for homeowners who rely on that rent to make their mortgage payment.
Oh no, I never heard that story before.
I know. That's why I'm not sure what to do about it because, I've been told that I'm crazy, that I shouldn't have let it happen. But the people liked coming in, having good references, and then they had ran onto bad times instead of saying to me, "Hey, Starr, I need to leave. I can't. I don't have the rent." No. Call up the rent board. Hey, she doesn't have a heater. Call up the police department, make all these false accusations.
All you have to do is get a big guy and get them out.
Well, you would think, but that's not the law. The police actually will come to your door and say, if they live more than 30 days, you have to get an unlawful detainer. And then you have to follow certain rules and restrictions, all on the landlord. And then everybody assumes that if you're a landlord, that you have all this money to pay a private attorney. Well, believe it or not, private
don't.
attorneys are very expensive. And the
So
attorneys,
you didn't have the attorney?
I got an attorney, but he's from Los Angeles. He didn't know the local rules, and because of that, I lost the unlawful detainer. I had to move out, and then eventually the sheriff's department did evict the tenant.
Oh,
Yeah, but I lost my home, and so
but I mean, you still have the equity on it, no?
no.
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 Oh, that's regrettable.
Yeah, well, in Oregon, it is a felony for people to do what they do here in San
Unlawful
Francisco.
detainer?
Yeah, non-lawful detainer. It's a felony to squat in a person's home knowing that you're doing it on purpose just so you don't have to pay rent. It is a felony in Oregon. And I'd like that to be a law here in San
And
Francisco.
these people walked hands-free and everything?
They walk out hands-free.
And they don't have to pay you anything?
Well, what the law says or rents board says is you have to pay them $5,000 to move them out.
No kidding.
Well, the average private homeowner doesn't have 5 grand to move out somebody who's not paying rent because already they're losing money because they can't make their mortgage payment, right? So they're struggling. I mean, this is during the recession
Oh, yeah.
when not a lot of money was coming in. I wasn't getting a lot of work, and I understood, why he was doing what he was doing. But the thing is, I mean, if I was in that situation, I'd tell my landlord, I don't have the money. I'll have to move out, pack up my stuff, and I'd leave. I don't know where I'd go,
If
but I'd
you
go.
have their name, you can find them and ask them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So anyway, it's like a long time ago.
Yeah, it's been a few years now, but I still can't go back to my house and look at it.
Oh, okay.
Emotionally, it's too much.
It's too much to remember all
Yeah.
this stuff.
Yeah.
These people, when they moved in with you, they had a job.
Yeah, they had a job and everything,
Oh, okay.
and they were paying the rent.
And
But
they lost their job.
well, what happened? He lost his job, and he got angry with the other roommate, and he wanted him out. And I said, he's fine. He's not. He's paying stuff. He's not bothering you. And then the guy said, well, I'm going to make sure you lose your home, and that's exactly what he did.
Oh, such incredible story.
Yeah. Yeah, people can be very downright malicious.
Oh my God. Okay, so go back to your production.
Sorry.
If you could produce whatever you wanted, not for nonprofit or not for me or not for anybody, what would you produce?
I like sci-fi and I like fantasy a lot, and I also like the British way of telling stories. It's a lot slower and much more relaxed method, but they're not into After Effects and special effects and animation, which is very costly. What they do is they build the story on character, and that's what
Okay.
I like. And I've actually been thinking of going to England and maybe doing some research there and seeing if I can find some really good stories that I can put together. That I think would be a lot of fun. And I would have to rely, actors are wonderful people. They say it's acting is acting, but acting is part of your life. I mean, they have to give their heart and soul to their performance. And this is the kind of people I want to get and the kind of story I want to get. I don't know if you know about the Outlander series.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, what a wonderful story. I mean, that guy was really bad. Captain Randall was like really bad. And I thought, these actors had
Those
to.
in Ireland, right?
Yeah, it was in Ireland, and they had to do things that most of us would find so repulsive.
Oh,
And I thought to myself, my God, to ask an actor to do some of the things that these people had to do before the camera.
but I just read yesterday it was very successful in Ireland.
Oh, it was successful. It's a great, great, great series, but
Yeah.
it asks a lot of its actors to do. I mean,
Yeah, and
you have the sexual scenes, and then you have scenes where people were doing things that they are done in the closet, and in people's back rooms, and they had to do it in front of a camera, and they had one guy playing a double role. He was playing.
So it was X-rated movies.
Well, very.
Oh.
And so, I mean, you have him playing the husband and also the Captain Randall, and the role was very, very demanding. It was extremely demanding. And as a director, you have to get your actors ready before they do a scene. Yeah, besides having their lines, they have to have the right mood and they have to know what they need to deliver. You can't tell them that. You need to say, this is what I'm looking for, and pray to God that when you turn the camera on and you take the shots that you get what you've asked for, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I was doing public access with you,
Yeah.
way back,
Yeah.
I tried doing a drama series with Chinese actors, and it felt totally flat because, it's emotionally, it's real hard for them to really emit emotion. I mean, when you look at the Taiwanese dramas, the way they show emotion is by putting people into solitude. They had an opera series, a drama series.
Or make them starve.
Yeah, that's one thing. But they had a scene where the guy was in a shower stall when it was raining, and he was just soaking with rain and just showing him very sad. And the girl was there, and finally he could be alone with the girl. And it was very sensual. extremely sensual, and yet none of this, sex thing going on. Just the feelings that were going on, and it really touched me because it's a different cultural way of portraying a message, but it was very, very strong. And I think that's what a lot of American cinema lacks is it's all action, action, action. You got one stunt after another.
They
Well,
short attention span.
yeah, and it's
That's
really
for the kids.
yeah, it's for the kids, and it's a lot of money. Stunts are expensive. You're talking $10,000 a stunt.
Oh my god. Yeah, the previous guest, he's doing something pretty sci-fi. I mean, zombies, apocalypse, universe. I don't know what he has in his mind, but but he wants to do it. So I say, oh wow, go for it.
Yeah, yeah. No, if I could do anything, I mean, I would start off with a story that has very good characters, and the characters grow. If you have a script starts and ends with a great, great story, and it has to be a great, great script.
That's what I was telling him.
Yeah,
I said, do you have a good story behind all these
yeah.
songs and stuff? And he said, yes, he's writing it as we speak. So hopefully it'll be an even better story when
Yeah.
he's finished.
Well, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that story
Okay.
that I can tell, and if I can do it sci-fi or fantasy, that's fine with me. I love stuff like that. But you have to have the budget, and you have to have the funding.
He
The
has
people,
to have the investors.
yeah, you have to have the money coming in to pay. I mean, editing and doing special effects is extremely expensive.
Yes.
And when you shoot, you have to think about how those special effects are going to be done. Like when they had the vampire movie, Twilight, and all that, they had them. They had them on when you do the exercise thing, the walker thing. They had them running on those to make it portray like they were going twice as fast as they were. And then they had them on ropes where they would swing them from A to B, which I think is kind of fun. But you have to set up with stuntmen how to do these stunts. And as a director, you have to sit down and get lessons. How am I going to direct this shot, and how am I going to shoot this shot, and when do I shoot it, and when the angles. I mean, you have to think about all this stuff ahead of time. You have to meet with all your people and organize every shot you're going to make. And every scene, because time is money. $1,000, 1 minute is $1,000 film, right?
Yes.
And so you have to figure out what your shots are. And I'm that type of person. I'm the type of person who will sit down with my people and say, okay, this is what we need to do. How can you deliver it?
Mm.
You know?
Yeah, you gotta have a very qualified crew.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I would do, because I tell you, if I had to do sci-fi or fantasy and doing all this stuff, first thing I do is call people in and say, hey, I don't know how to even shoot this. You have to tell me how I go about it. I'll be perfectly honest with it. The biggest complaint in the filming industry with directors is most of them are new and they don't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
And I'm not a new director. I know what I'm doing, but when it comes to special effects and things like that, I know about Harry and I know about animation. And
You hire those people.
Yeah, you hire those people. You hire those people, but you sit down with them and say, "How do I shoot this so that I can help you?"
Oh,
Help me
during the editing.
Yeah, during the editing, because editing is where the story comes together.
Okay.
And if you help them in their job to edit it, give them to 10 seconds ahead of time behind each shot so they can have time to get stuff in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also, make sure your sound guy knows how to do his sound and he gets all the extra sound you want and all the extra movements you want. I mean, you got to make sure that your people do what you need to do without you having to tell them. Harry Potter, the movie series, is a sound movie all the way through from the first to the last film. It's nothing but sound.
Oh, okay.
And their sound crews went out, and the fire scene when the guy's running through the hallway and there's fire everywhere. The sound guys went out and took a whole bunch of furniture and did fire and did pyrotechnics and had a great time sitting there with the fire and basically blowing stuff up and just microphoning it, getting it all on their tapes. So that when the actual scene was edited, they put all that stuff in. They had the furniture falling down, and they had the fire. They used the lions and the elephant sounds to make it sound even bigger than it was. Mm-hmm. So this is the things that you need to do. You need to incorporate. It's the same in a lot of other films. So the sound guys have to go out and crinkle things and play with things to get the sound that you want.
I read that a movie without the sound it's no good. The sound person is like number one. He has to create that emotion,
Yeah.
that, and that's what makes the success of the film, right?
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
So you got to work very closely with the sound person
Oh,
to create those emotion and those special effects that you're talking about. But that's the kind of stuff you want to do.
yeah, that's what I would like to do. In Berkeley, I can't think of the name. It's Dan Olmsted. He teaches over at City College. He's a fabulous sound man, and he has a guy in the studio. And what a lot of people do is when their film is done, quote unquote, they have to bring it over to the sound studio, and that's when they play with the sound. There's a movie, I think it's called Inception, where they have all these buildings coming up out of the ground and turning around and switching down. Well, he puts in sound to help make that building seem even bigger and creepier than it was, on the first track.
Yeah, it's important.
Really, really important. It really is. People underestimate the value of sound. They
Yeah.
really do.
Yes. So, have you knocked on some local doors for your funding?
No, not at this stage. At this stage, I'm trying to finish all my classes, all my funding at City. I went back to school. So I went from what we were at into digital. So I've been doing lighting both in photography and cinema and broadcast. So I'm almost finished with all the lighting classes. I have commercial photography right now. So we're lighting little, perfume bottles and little boxes and
Just practice.
yeah, we're lighting in the studio. So that helps me because I have found that when I went on a shoot, anytime I had a cameraman who was a photographer as well,
It's better.
it was always better because he knew about doing the shimmer shots and everything, and so you need a photography guy,
Photographer
a cameraman who's also a photographer who can sit there and he knows how to play with light. And I love playing with light. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It really is. And it makes a difference, like you say, how you look or you don't look. I mean, I look at you and I'm looking at your cheekbones and your eyes and your chin and how your hair goes and how
Yeah.
much light I can bounce off of
And
it.
the lights was gonna
Yeah.
make a difference,
Yeah,
right?
and the skin color, I'm looking at all the colors you have on, and I'm really going, she needs to do this, I need to shoot
we
her this
cannot
way.
play with lights here.
Yeah.
It's just as is. You
Yeah.
know that, right?
Yeah, no, here is as is, but when
We used to have the big studio where we could play.
yeah, that was then, but those lights took forever to set up. Remember?
Oh, okay. But
Yeah.
you did a great job.
Thank you.
I don't know how you did it, but it came out marvelous.
I'm glad.
So
Yeah.
I might email it to you if you want. So anyway, so next project, as soon as you're done with your city college, whatever you want to perfect yourself on, you're gonna tackle a new project.
Yeah, I'm going to tackle a new project. Like I said, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing right now, but I'm sitting down trying to figure out all my classes, get them done. And I got other things I have to do, but I'm definitely thinking seriously again, like I said, going to England. And
Maybe there's more resources there.
yeah, knock around and see what I can find and just talk, bump some heads. And
Are you Irish?
my father's from England.
Okay, so maybe
Yeah, well, I have relatives there that I'm finding out through the genealogical thing.
yeah.
I didn't know I have relatives both in England and Canada and Australia and Africa. It's like, okay. So I might be knocking on some doors.
Oh,
to say,
Wilson is an English name.
it is. Yeah.
Okay, so you'll go there and say, "Hey, I'm your granddaughter."
Yeah, I'm your third cousin. Yeah, so well, but no, but
they might say, "Oh, go! I have a friend who's a filmmaker."
yeah, exactly.
It could happen. You never know.
You never know. Yeah.
So,
I'm
but
not-
yeah, it's developing in England very, very much film, and Ireland too.
Yes, and I love like I said, I love the way they put their series together because it's character driven and not stunt driven, and that's what I
Oh.
like about
The
their
European
series.
style.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. So that's basically the way I'm going, but if something else bounces in my direction, and I think it's worth it, and
You'll go.
I'll go for
Yeah,
it.
yeah. You have to read the script, see if you like it.
Well, read the script, and also, do I have the ability to put this together?
Oh.
As you know, being a woman and dealing with a bunch of guys,
Oh yeah. I didn't think about that
Yeah,
part.
and I'm pretty laid back. I'm pretty nice, but sometimes I have to step on people's feet, and I'll do that.
Oh, to tell them you didn't do what I told you?
Well, not just that, uh, they'll make suggestions and say, "Well, thank you, I appreciate the suggestion, but this is how I want it."
Okay.
And
Stand on your ground.
yeah, stand my ground, because I know with a lot of the younger ones, they look at us who are older like, well, she doesn't know anything. She doesn't know what she's doing. Well, I do very much know what I'm doing, and I know what I want to get. And no offense, but you don't have the experience yet.
When you send to, let's say, a very well-known studio, you send them a reel of your thing?
I haven't got a reel, and I've been looking at that. I mean, the stuff that I have on my page is not very much, and I purposely have kept it limited because it's been school stuff, if you get my
What kind
drift.
of page do you have?
I have
A YouTube channel?
I have stuff on the tube, yes. I do have stuff on YouTube, and I do have stuff on my web page, but
Okay.
it's been mainly school stuff, if you get my drift. It hasn't been stuff that I'm involved
Want
in
to do.
want to do, and that's
So may
what.
as well not put it there.
Yeah,
They're gonna
exactly.
get the wrong idea of what
Yeah,
you want to do.
exactly, and the Mini Yonko Club is on web productions.
Do a 30 seconds super action driven clip, and then you can put it there.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm gonna sit down with someone and think through and
You
what I
gotta
need
do
to
a
do.
30 second, maybe 15, but at least something they can see you can do it. I don't know if that's the way it works. And because I see some big studio websites and they put very short clips
Yeah,
because people don't want to watch long clips anyway. But what they put out is wow, we gotta go see this,
yeah,
kind of thing.
yes, they're called trailers. Yeah, trailers are usually 30 seconds to a minute long, depending on what it is, and basically you put the highlights of the
Of
movie.
what you can do.
Of what is in there, and that's basically with a reel is the same thing. You put the highlights of the stuff that you want people to see,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really think I have stuff that I really want to put in the reel right now that I want people to see, because I haven't really worked on stuff that I really am in love with.
Okay.
I
So
mean,
never
yeah.
too late to start.
Yeah, so now, yeah, exactly. It's never too late to start. So now I think once I get something going like this drama series or something, and it has really good scenes, then I think I can really put it together. Meanwhile, my stuff is typical, business documentary. We gotta train this person. What can you do with it? Talking heads and B-roll. That's all you can do.
Okay.
It's not exciting, but it pays the bills.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's all you can do.
Yeah, and also you gotta like you said, travel to England. I know you already tried Hollywood. That's not your
Didn't
cup of
work.
tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so travel to those new up and coming studios in Australia, and maybe they'll see your talent.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. You just hope that the world, the universe says, "Oh, we need you for this."
No, I mean, if you need a reference, I can give you one.
Why,
I
thank
mean,
you.
I'll give you the best one you want
Why, thank you.
because it will be a sincere one.
Uh-huh.
And if someone gives you a good reference, they say, oh, maybe she does have something that's different than the other directors.
Well, it comes down to, I used to work for Newsnet Central, and we used to do KQED, Dr. Dina Down, all that sort of thing.
Really?
And it comes down to culture. It
Yeah.
comes down to culture. If you fit the culture of the group that is trying to get you in, it will work. If you don't fit the culture, I tried to get on the cop show as an editor, and I didn't fit the culture. They wanted a big woman, and
Oh,
very pushy. And
across street you tried to, KQED?
well, yeah, KQED requires a producer's package, so you have to go and fill out packages and stuff, and then submit your work. And
It's complicated.
yeah, it's
And there's
complicated.
the other one called ITS TV or IT.
Yeah, yeah,
That one is easier to get in, no?
I think so. I haven't tried them.
Yeah.
Basically, like I said, again, I have to figure out what my direction is and go for it. And like I said, I've told you what I think I'm going to do, but I got to get there first.
All right. So maybe you look at his script to see if it's something that inspire you. But there are many scripts out there. Someone is sending me a script for 1.5 million. He said, "Find me an investor." I say, it's a story in Iraq, Iran, and all that. I say, well, to find an investor, it's not like that. You gotta knock on doors,
Yeah.
He thinks I can find him an investor just like that.
No.
It's very hard.
I mean, even in Hollywood, they suggest that if you submit a script, you put $100 bill in it. At least they'll open it.
Oh, okay.
And
That's a good joke.
yeah, how many $100 bills do we have? No, none, right? But like I say, I found it harsh. I found it unrealistic, and I thought to myself, well, again, if you have a good story and a good script, go for it. And then somehow you can get the investors. But right now, I just want to get the story and a good script, and then from there, I think I can build on it. But right now, I'm finishing what I'm going to do, and then I'll look for that. And if it comes, I'll be happy. And if it doesn't, I'll continue.
Actually, nobody reads the whole script. They read maybe the first page or the summary,
Yeah.
and they say, "Oh, is that the kind of story I want to put on?" Then, if they're interested in the theme, then they'll read a little bit more, and then that's when they might really get interested if it's well written.
Well, with the Harry Potter thing, she wrote her stuff on napkins when she first was writing
Oh,
her
she
script.
was a writer, yeah.
And basically, she did shop it around, and people wouldn't take it because it was about witches.
Mm.
And eventually, when it got taken, look what happened to it. I mean, Warner Brothers took it over, and it turned out to be a big, huge, humongous success. Lots of money, buku bucks, right?
Yeah, she became a billionaire.
Yeah, and the actors also did quite well. As a matter of fact, they grew up.
Yeah,
in
now
it.
they're grown.
And they're grown, and they're trying to break out into other things because they want to separate themselves
From
from
Harry
the world
Potter.
of Harry Potter. What you got to do is when you do a good script, you have to have a good world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened with Harry Potter. He had a great little world that he lived in. That's why so many people loved the series, not because it's about witches and all that stuff. It's because it's about a world where the little characters grow and they have their issues. But it was a world. It's the same thing with any sci-fi. You have to create a world, and that's you have to say, well, what kind of world do I want to create?
Did you ever write a script?
Oh, I've written scripts, yeah.
Were they in a good world?
No, no. For class,
Okay.
you write scripts for class.
Yeah.
And there was a thing that I was working on. Once I wrote the script, it just didn't work out. I went from an old 1700 style thing, it was an Indian legend, to modern time. It just didn't go well. It didn't work. So I trashed it because it just didn't work. And that's what you have to think about. Will this work? What kind of audience are you writing for?
Yeah. Yes. So you won't rely on your own script.
No, not now. But if I have a good book, I'll get a script writer and we'll work with it.
Or if you like the story of a certain book.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Outlanders is. It's from a book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
just read the article yesterday because the main actor is very famous now and he wants to give back like social causes.
Well, good for him.
So I mean, he got really lucky, so he wants to give something back. But anyway, I'm sure if you make it big, you'll give something back.
Oh, no, there's no question that I would.
Yeah.
No
I hope
question.
you do, actually. I hope you do. I hope somebody is going to say, my God, let's give this woman a chance. She deserves it so much. So it's going to happen eventually.
Yeah, it's going to happen, but my timeline's getting shorter, so I want to make sure it happens sooner than later.
Oh, yeah, because, we don't live forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. But it's going to happen. I have the feeling it will. So, Starr, I can't tell you how happy I had the honor and pleasure to interview you. Because even though when you did my show, I didn't know who you were, where you came from, just your work speak for itself, I would say. I didn't need to see your background or your credentials. It's just, that's what a person is when you look at what they have done. It doesn't make a difference if they have a PhD from a big school, it doesn't matter because the 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 result is what counts, right?
Well, there's another thing too. I'm a director, and I know that's what I am. And when I was in Hollywood, I actually worked on a film set where the person had been a public access director, and he was now doing a musical,
Yeah.
and it was a black musical. And I was a script super on that, and that's a bad thing to do try and do something else. He didn't know how to work access with train crossings, and so I ended up directing all his train shots for him. That's when I realized this is not going to work. Me as a script supervisor, it's just not going to work because I'm too much of a director.
Oh.
And I did it to help him out, and he was grateful. And I had problems with the other. There were two of us, and with the other script super kept sabotaging me, and the whole crew actually took her to the side and told her to back off.
Oh.
But I helped him. I have no idea what happened with his little musical. I hope he was able to get it done.
Yeah.
But it showed to me that you can't try and get in by other means. You are what you are. You got to do what you are. And so that's what I realized, that I got to do what I am, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get everybody together, and somehow the money will come together. And I'm excited. I can't wait.
Okay, so me too. I can't wait to read in the paper that you're a superstar or recognized, because not only you are a director, but you are a real artist. I mean, you can take the best shots you can,
Yeah.
anybody can take. So, such a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me here, and it was nice seeing you after all these years.
That's true. That's true. I just bumped into you in the bus, and here
Yeah.
you are. I say, "Oh my God, is that her?" I thought you disappeared from San Francisco. Yeah. So the pleasure is shared. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.